Welcome to the Business of Beauty, where we help beauty entrepreneurs in building their business and reaching their dreams. This is your host, David Lee. Our guest today does skincare recommendations, Instagram coaching for beauty businesses and consultants, and makeup applications. She is proud of supporting people in their beauty journey by providing skincare education recommendations, makeup classes, makeup application, coaching beauty professionals and consultants to use Instagram in a strategic way for their business. And her superpower is being a Canva master. She loves creating templates for stories or graphics for posts and teaching people how to use Canva for their business too. So welcome to the show, Kim Gomez at Kim Baker Beauty.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
A pleasure.
Yeah.
So, thanks. And let's get started with, tell us a little bit more about your business. Like, what do you do?
Yeah. So before shelter in place, I was focused in providing makeup services for weddings, photo shoots, events, all that. And now we can't be in person with our clients. And so I've found ways to pivot that are actually really firing me up, and I'm finding passion in it. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. So now, like you said, I'm offering services to help beauty entrepreneurs and still connected with my clients as well by doing online services.
Okay, now I picture like you're online with them on a camera, you're guiding them through the makeup piece. Is that how it works?
That is part of what I offer. So I do either, sometimes I have like classes I offer publicly, or I'll do custom one-on-one classes where I'm literally, they're putting their makeup on, I'm putting mine on, I'm giving them advice. And it's a fun distraction too.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, was it, so since we're kind of like on this like whole pandemic lockdown period, now, were you planning this prior? Did you have like this online program prior to all this, or like all this hit and you're like, oh my God, what do I do next, right?
So no, I didn't have any of this planned. I have been helping people in these ways before, so none of this is completely new, but it wasn't super strategic like it is now. I didn't have a specific Instagram coaching program. I was just
you're already doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of, at first I was like, well, I guess I get time off. And then I was like, no, I want to do something. I want to help people.
Now, so tell us about like your primary business. I mean, before it pretty much got put on pause, right? How did you get started in that? How long ago was it? And then kind of build up to I guess where you're at today.
So I've always enjoyed makeup. I've always been like a creative, artistic person, and for a long time it was just a hobby. And I went to college actually for education, elementary education. And even through college, I would do my friends' makeup and creatively, or going out. And then after I graduated, I was like, wait, I can do both. And so I went to esthetician school, met my mentor there, and she literally just like took me along for the ride. I did my first wedding with her, and I had really no idea what I was doing like professionally. And I've been, so that was about 5.5, 6 years ago. And I just fell in love with weddings right away. Being able to help women feel just so confident and beautiful by enhancing their features and not covering it up, using skincare to help them feel amazing. And so I primarily do weddings, and that's a big one. And just helping brides feeling like relaxed and amazing. I love it. And then all this happened. I was like, what am I going to do?
Like, so since you're really deep into the wedding industry, can you shed a little light in that area? Like, what has happened to it with the pandemic?
So what I'm seeing mostly is that brides are rescheduling their weddings,
Okay.
which
Yep.
is what I really encourage, because
Yeah.
um, you still deserve the day of your dreams.
Yeah.
It's just going to be postponed.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of my brides have rescheduled for the winter or even the following fall.
Yeah.
Um, and, at least in the area of the bridal business that I'm in,
Hmm.
vendors have been so supportive, so flexible. We're working with each other, we're working with our brides, and just trying to help everyone feel supported and relaxed, because it's stressful. It is. There's no way to get
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
It's hard. But with that said, the vendors in my circle have been incredible in being able to reschedule, and I've been doing that as well for my brides.
Yeah. Now, how do you see your vendors kind of going through this? Since okay, it's great they're allowing them to reschedule and to kind of you know move it to a later date. As a matter of fact, I had two weddings to go to this year, and they both were rescheduled. So I totally get it. But then, how do you see your peers, your other vendors? How would they handle the next 12 months potentially with very little revenue coming in? Or do you see them pivoting too, or they seems like, you know what, I'm just gonna put everything on pause and then just rehire my team when business picks up again?
Yeah, it's a huge variety. I think it really depends on each business model. But a lot of the vendors I work with are independent and don't have teams.
Hmm.
So
Just easier,
you
right? A
know,
little more
it,
flexible.
it's a little bit easier, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's myself as well. I'm completely independent. I will, contract out people when I need them.
Yeah.
But it's a huge variety. Some people are able to keep their employees on staff. Some are not. It just, yeah, I think the big lesson we're all learning is we're all doing our best and we are
Yeah.
all giving each other grace.
Yeah, yeah, and this is totally unexpected, right? Never in, our lifetime. I don't even remember, or in history where the whole world got shut down like this.
I
So,
think the last one was 100 years ago or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that's also a once in 100 year event, right?
yeah,
So just
yeah.
gotta get through it.
We're part of history right now.
Yeah, yeah. We can now tell our kids, right? Back in the
Oh my God.
day.
Yes, this will be in history books and our kids will be asking us about it for sure.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like our parents say, yeah, we gotta walk both ways up the hill. Like, what? Like, this will be our story.
We had no jobs for
Yeah, we
a
had no
year.
jobs. We're totally exaggerated too, just like our parents did, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, and it's great that you're still so positive, and that's important, and having a community to kind of support around that, because sometimes I don't even want to look at Facebook. I don't even want to
Oh,
look at social media.
yeah.
It's a little depressing. So I really appreciate to hear and get some positivity from, and pretty much every entrepreneur I've talked to has been pretty positive about the situation. They're going to come back. They know, the business isn't going to go, like what they were doing last year or in January, but they're confident that they'll be able to kind of get back on track. So that's very good. So now, so tell us a little bit more about the pivot, right?
Yeah.
At what point did you realize, oh wow, let's pivot, or let's offer the Instagram coaching, or let's offer these online programs, so I can differentiate, but also offer additional value.
Yeah. So I would say it was probably 3 weeks into shelter in place, and I'm here in California, so
Oh,
ours
yeah.
started on March 14th. So it was about 3 weeks in, and actually so I teach preschool during the week, which obviously I'm not right now. But
Yeah.
one of my previous families, the mom reached out and she was like, I know you're out of work. I know you're a makeup artist. would you be interested in being on my beauty counter team, which is like non-toxic skincare, makeup? And I was like, all right, what do I have to lose? Like, let's do it. And so being a part of that community, it's an incredible community. There's so much education and support. But two, I noticed there were a lot of women who just didn't know how to use their social media to get traction in that business. And I was like, I know how to do that. I can help people with that. So at first it started with just like experimenting with a few people for free. And quickly it gained traction, and quickly people were coming to me and asking me for advice. And I was like, okay, there's something to this.
Maybe I could get paid to do this, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I have already. So it's very exciting.
Nice. And this was only a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah. So I've been
starting
doing it
officially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more on the program, like, or your training course, right? What does that look like?
So as of now, it looks like a 1-hour Zoom call where I've created a guide that kind of reviews and touches upon most of Instagram's features. We review your handle, your bio photo, your bio, like all the things that you connect with people.
Yeah, so the initial setup.
Yeah, exactly. And even down to what kind of content to post. And I help people create a strategy that works for them. So it's not a cookie cutter kind of situation. What I post and what I do could look very different from my students and my clients. And this is where the real value lies to me, and what my clients have expressed is that I give them support in DMs for a month after. So I've given them all this information. It's like a little overwhelming. And then they're able to come back and be like, okay, how does this look? Or I made this change. What do you think? And I've been able to really help. Yeah, the feedback is like huge. Yeah.
Nice. So do you have any metrics or feedback from your customers' testimonials? Like, what have they been saying, when they started posting on Instagram?
Yeah, so that's funny you ask, because today I just relaunched the program, and I have like video testimonials that I've been sharing.
Those are always the best.
The main thing that's been the like common theme between everyone is that using Instagram has become easier. It's less overwhelming. They, because I really push the idea of like batching content, because that was a big game changer for me to like get a lot of work done in a short amount of time and not be worried every single day about like, what do I post? When does it go out?
Like right at the moment, because it could consume your whole day, right? And your whole week.
So that's the biggest thing they're saying, is that Instagram's easier. They have more intention behind what they're doing. So they know what to post, when to post it, and like who to interact with on the app.
Yeah. So now, do you focus, do you go into like the stories? Do you go over, I believe they're called like the carousels, right? They're multiple images. Do you go deep into that area too? Because I think that's one of some of the nearest stuff, right? In Instagram.
Yeah. Sometimes, because like I said, my coaching is really tailored to each person. So if, for instance, if someone is like super new and super overwhelmed with everything, I'm not going to get into those details. But if someone is a little bit more comfortable and comfortable showing up on stories, like we're going to talk about it, because that is a huge part of success on Instagram.
Okay. Nice. Now, do you also do you use any third-party tools?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Any recommendations?
Yeah, so I love Cut Story is great. One piece of advice I always give is to actually take all videos and pictures outside of Instagram, so that way you have time to post your stories and your feed when you want to. You're not like, that pressure isn't there. So for videos longer than a minute, I love Cut Story to spice it up. And then What else? Well, I love Canva.
Yes,
Canva
we
all the
can't miss
time.
Canva, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So those are a few that I use.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other ones, but
Yeah.
those are the
Now,
main
for
ones.
those that haven't heard about Canva, so tell us, what is Canva, and how does that apply to, a business, not just, for
Yeah.
Instagram, right?
Right. So Canva is a design tool online for the average person. So it's not like, Photoshop or InDesign where you need
Yeah, you're
like to really know
overwhelmed
what you're
with like all
doing.
these different like buttons and layers, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a simplified tool where you can make graphics for just about anything. I've
Okay.
made posts, I've made stories,
Hmm.
I've even made like stickers for my business when I've done like wedding fairs or
Nice.
virtually anything
Yeah.
that's graphic, you can make it on
Nice.
Canva.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So it just speeds up the process. It's easy to do. Low learning curve. I guess initially, but there's still a lot of options, right? A lot of
Totally. Yes.
choices you can
Uh-huh.
pick from. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so is there anything else you focus on, or is mostly this area is your primary focus, is the Instagram training?
So the Instagram training is a huge one, but then for people who are not beauty entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
I do offer skincare recommendations,
Okay.
and then the makeup classes online. So I kind of have like two
Okay.
areas that I
Yeah.
focus on.
So one focus on helping other beauty entrepreneurs, and then one side helping more of the individual, like the consumers, right?
Exactly.
Very
Yep.
cool. Yeah. Um, now, have you been like, what side have you been really focusing more on the growth? Where do you see the area of growth the most?
So it depends on the day or the week. Sometimes,
Okay.
so like this week, my focus is much more in the business of
Yeah.
supporting entrepreneurs.
Okay.
But, like 2 weeks ago, especially, I was really focused in getting skincare advice out to people. So
Okay.
I kind of switch my focus around a little bit
Hmm.
here and there, either depending on what I have to offer
Yeah.
or what my clients are wanting. So I'm someone who needs things to be a little bit different day to day. So it
Oh,
really helps me stay
yeah,
alert
yeah,
and
yeah. Stay
excited.
fresh, right?
Yeah.
Uh, okay, yeah, very cool. Now, can you tell us a little bit more on the consumer, side of things? So, what does your program look like there, from like makeup classes to showing, the application, all
Yeah.
virtually,
So
right?
for sure, everything's virtual now.
Yeah.
For one, I offer free skincare recommendations. So
Okay.
anyone can come to me and be like, how do I get amazing skin?
Yeah.
What do I even need to use? And I have a series of questions I ask, and then I send custom recommendations that fit not only their skincare needs, but their budget, their time constraints. Not everybody wants a 10-step routine, right? And I get
Yeah.
that. Maybe you're just a two and go, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I make those accommodations.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the makeup classes, I do it one of two ways. One, either I have a class that I'm offering to the public for like
Hmm.
group classes. So right now I have a Master Your Complexion class on May 30th. And so that's like very specific in an area. We
Okay.
will review skincare and specific techniques to apply makeup to get that like flawless complexion.
Yeah.
But then I also offer custom classes to anyone who might be interested. They want to know everything about their makeup
Oh,
application, or maybe they're too shy to be in a group class.
okay. So
So
these are
I
like
can do a
one-on-one
yeah,
programs. Got
yes,
it.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Now, how do you promote your programs?
Honestly, primarily on Instagram,
Oh,
in
okay.
my stories, on my feed.
Yeah.
Every so often, I'll pop over to Facebook, but
Mhm.
I don't tend to get as much traction there. Um,
Okay.
but
Yeah. So
yeah,
the stories is the key. And do you like typically how many people do you have in your course, in your classes?
Yeah, it totally ranges. Sometimes I just have one. Sometimes I have 5, 6, 7. I did a class of like 12 moms a few weeks ago.
Wow.
So it
Yeah.
totally depends on I'm guessing the day and time affects it.
Yeah.
How much I talk about it probably.
Yeah.
So it just all
And
depends.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm curious, like, are they mostly in the US? Are there anyone outside the US that you end up getting, or just mostly US?
It's mostly
Outs-
the US.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Outside of California, or mostly in California?
So primarily California, because until recently, I was really focused on getting local clients, right?
Yeah,
So my
yeah.
strategy was for local. Now it's more global,
Okay,
but I still get mostly people in the US.
okay. Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm sure our viewers are wondering, hey, how can we sign up, and how much does it cost? Like, you give us a little more
Yeah.
detail on that.
So what I decided personally for myself to feel like okay with what I was doing is that during
Mhm.
shelter in place, my prices are dramatically lower than they would be otherwise.
Okay.
I understand that people are having financial burdens, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't have access to fun, distracting things.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
my complexion class is $45.
Okay.
Um, and if someone wants a one-on-one class with me, it's
Hmm.
$60.
Okay.
And then my Instagram coaching is 77 right now. So
Okay.
everything is under 100,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
Seems
is
very
super
reasonable. Yeah.
accessible. Yeah.
Mhm.
Much lower than what I was charging before shelter in place.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, so now let's kind of talk about like the future, right? Like
Yeah.
now, a lot of states are starting to get out of lockdown. Businesses are slowly opening up. Where do you see yourself, for the rest of 2020, and then onwards to the next 3, 5, even 10 years out?
Yeah. My wife is actually pregnant with our first child.
Oh,
So the future
congrats!
is, thank you, is
Congrats!
family.
Yeah,
But because of that and because of the pandemic, I've really
yeah,
shifted to want to work from home to
yes,
keep myself safe, to keep my family safe. I also
yeah,
I'm high risk. So the idea
mm,
of being out in public is
yeah,
not enticing to me.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm planning to continue the coaching and the remote
Mhm.
lessons and offerings for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm also kind of like, I'm not going to be married to anything. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
whatever happens, I'm here for it. But I'm
Yep.
ready to expand and grow the business as it is currently.
Okay. Yeah, that's very smart, and that's true entrepreneur, like mindset there, right? You can't get stuck in the old ways. You have to be flexible. You have to be able to kind of roll with your punches, right?
Of
And
course. Oh,
you know, I 100% get it. I mean, I myself, I have a 6-month-old, and
oh,
prior
exciting.
to her, I was already thinking like, okay, well, things are going to change quite a bit. I gotta watch her. Mom's going to work, so I'll be mostly watching her, and I can only get grandparents to help so much.
Right.
So the business model has to change. So yeah, shifting focus is super key based on your time and priorities. So love that. Um, so building now, where do you see your online programs going? Do you see it scaling out? Do you see like offering more different types of programs, or more so like advertising more on the programs that you have currently?
Yeah, so I can definitely see my coaching being an online course. It's definitely set up where it can be,
Yeah.
and there's so much more information that I could be providing. And if
Hmm.
I did that in a course format, I think I could help even more people.
Yeah.
But I do love working one-on-one with people, so that's something that I don't see going away ever.
Yeah.
I do see myself expanding and offering more things.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
So, any advice or tips that you can give to someone that's thinking about starting their business? I know it's crazy in this time, but I would also say, in
Now's the
in
time.
now is the time, right? You have time, but also in in these difficult times, that's also when new opportunities come up, right? I mean, look at delivery services, look at, toilet manufacturing, toilet paper, right? So, I'm just kidding on the last one, but really, like the opportunities, new opportunities come up. So it may be a very good time to start a business. So what advice would you give someone thinking about starting a new business right now?
Yeah. First of all, business is always about relationships. So connecting with people, supporting each other, because I mean, you were talking about like giving those stats, right? My weddings increased from 2018 to 2019 by 200%.
Wow.
And 54% of that was from other vendor referrals because I focused on relationship building. And then the rest of that was Instagram. So I focus on Instagram, and that does bring me a lot of clients, but the primary income and client income is from relationship building and genuine relationships, not like, oh, well, I'm commenting on you because I want something out of you. Like, no, I'm interested in you as a human being, and let's get to know each other.
And I love that. And the way I look at it is like, first start with how I can help before even asking for anything, just give value. And I love what you're doing already, like the free recommendations, your time, spending on this session, in the show, helping others. So really appreciate that.
Yep. I love helping people. It's why I do what I do.
Yeah, I love that. So anyways, thank you so much for your time. Now, for those that are watching, how can they connect with you? How can they reach you? How can they learn more about your programs and so forth?
So I can be found on, I say Instagram is the primary one, obviously. And
really?
all the other information on there. Kim Baker Beauty, easy spelling. And I do have a website as well, kimbakerbeauty.com. A lot of my stuff is on there. But just send me a DM. Let's chat. Ask me anything. If you have skincare questions, business questions, I'm here to help and answer. And if you feel like you need more help, let's talk about that. But I want to chat.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. And for those, as usual, all the information, the links will be in the show notes. So it'll be in the resource area. It'll also be on the description of the YouTube video. So no worries if you miss that. You don't have to write anything down. You just click on it. So again, hope you enjoyed this episode. And again, thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.